I got to talk a little bit, and then this year I will be on stage twice with them, one as a peer coach and one as and I'm super excited. I get to be on stage with Andrew Undum, and he's it's like Tom Ferry, Andrew Undum in my world. And he was at the first conference I ever went to, and he actually said, "Don't cry, convert." And that like resonated in me, and that's where 0% of zero came from. Because I was like, you got to convert leads, you got to be doing your job.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm your host, Cody Crabb with Investor Fuel. Today I'm joined by Alicia Holmquist. She's a realtor and peer coach out of Myrtle Beach, serving both North and South Carolina. Just in under 5 years, she's scaled her business to like 60 deals a year. She's a solo agent. So she's known for her philosophy. We'll get into that, about the number 0 a lot of times in a row. So we'll get into that. Alicia, thanks so much for joining us today. It's good to have you on.
I am so excited to be here.
Great. Love it. Loving that. So you told me before we started talking on the podcast, you said that you like doubled your deals that you were doing. I would love to hear, well, first of all, I'd love to hear how you came to be in real estate. But I would also love to hear this too, like this, whatever went from 30 to 60, like that sounds like a great story as well.
So it was pretty exciting. I moved to Myrtle Beach in the middle of COVID. No sphere of influence here at all. Just wanted to get away from the snow. I'm originally from Maine, so I knew nothing of the area. Always wanted to be a realtor, but never had the opportunity to just stop what I was doing and go to school. So once the opportunity basically presented itself, I went into real estate school, local school right here in Myrtle Beach, awesome school. And while I was doing that, I became an Uber driver so that I could learn my way around the area. Yeah, that was super. And now there's times where like I'll pull into a neighborhood. I'm like, I've been here before and I dreamt off that drunk lady. It's Myrtle Beach. Everybody's on vacation. So I was really fortunate because when I got into real estate, what I was learning in school is that pretty much anybody will hire you. And I got really lucky because before I started real estate school.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I had called a bunch of offices and they're like, once you're licensed, yeah, we'll bring you on. And there was one office, Welcome Home Realty, that said, we'll start training you now. And I was like, cool, I have a home. I know where I'm going. I feel like that's a great thing to feel confident about. So the entire time I was in school, everybody was like, oh, I think I'm going to interview with this team or this brokerage. And I was like, oh, I'm going to work for Welcome Home. And the minute I started with them, it was boots on the ground, running as fast as I could. I learned really early on that this is my business, and I heard that early on. I had an awesome teacher, and it was constantly reminded, this is your business, this is your business, this is your business. And I wanted to grow my business. I didn't have a hairdresser here. I didn't have a nail tech here. Like, I had no one to constantly be like, I'm a realtor, want to use me? So I started looking into referral sources really quick, and our brokerage was really small at the time. So we only had a handful of listings, and on the weekends I would do every open house I could. When I was doing open houses, I would try to go to the left and to the right, across the street, and just say like, hey, I'm having an open house. If you guys want to come up, check your neighbor's house out, and try to engage possible other listings that way. And from there, I just kept digging in and trying to find new ways to get a client, because in my head, whether I had to pay somebody a referral or whether I had to pay for that lead up front, which I wasn't a huge fan of when I first started, because every agent when they first start is super broke. And I just really, I dug into that concept, because in my head, 0% of 0 is 0. So if there's a potential to make $1,000 or no dollars, I'm going to go with $1,000 at the end of the day. And I wanted to build a database that I could then turn around in a couple of years and go back to and say, hey, you bought or sold with me. How's everything going? Are you happy? Is that the right house? And constantly be able to help them. And within my first year, I had returned business. And that was shocking to me. I had a fair amount of it. And then I stayed consistent. My first year, I was rookie of the year. And then I was top producer that year, and nobody's taken me off my throne at work yet. I make jokes. I train everybody. I give them like my playbook, and I'm like, your job is to knock me right off my throne.
Good luck. Yeah.
And good luck. But no, we did have somebody last year who had out transacted me, but not out volumed me. And I think transactions is actually a bigger deal than volume, because if I was if I was only working the high end market of Myrtle Beach and like North Myrtle Beach, and like the beach area of North Carolina, I'd only have to do 12 or 15 deals a year to hit the numbers I hit last year. So I think transactions are, especially early on, a bigger deal, because now you have a bigger pool to go back to and say, hey, remember me? You really liked me. I did a good job.
Yeah.
And I do constantly follow up with my people. I don't just, send the Christmas card once a year. I actually like to send Thanksgiving cards, New Year's cards, and 4th of July cards.
That is so smart.
Yeah.
Instantly, I instantly see why that's such a good idea. That's so brilliant.
Something that stands out different than the millions of cards you're getting at Christmas time. And then really, to be honest, because Christmas is so hectic, there's no way I'm going to get out like 120 handwritten cards by like Christmas Day, even if I try to start on December 1st, because life. So sending out New Year's cards, I always say I have until like February 15th at the latest. But it's coming.
Yeah, yet another brilliant aspect of that is it's still the year's still new.
It's still new.
Yeah.
I really try to make sure it's out before Valentine's Day, because then I think it's like just crushing on like a different holiday, which doesn't make sense. But I still do open houses every weekend. I am still using different referral sources. My sphere is pretty big now from the clients that I have had. And then yes, last year, because of my constant follow-up, because of what I like to do, between the return clients and referrals from clients plus referral sources, I was able to double my transactions last year, which just blew my mind. And our market is a very different market from some places. I know everywhere is different, but I'm originally from New England, which has a much higher price point. And one of my best friends is a realtor back in New Hampshire and Maine, and he did the exact same volume I did last year with half the transactions. So That's why I kind of look at transaction number as kind of a bigger deal. And I am a solo agent. I did have to bring on a transaction coordinator last year just to make sure I kept everything on the rails, because I like to squirrel. And being a realtor, you can't squirrel, because if you do, you're definitely going to drop the ball on something. So I had to have somebody keeping me somewhat accountable.
Or you can, as long as there's someone there to point you back and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
good
then
point.
I got really lucky because last year, being a peer coach with Inside Real Estate, that's who creates Boomtown and Bold Trail, and works KV Core. I was really excited because they put me on stage last year and I got to talk a little bit. And then this year I will be on stage twice with them, one as a peer coach and one as and I'm super excited. I get to be on stage with Andrew Undum, and he's
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
it's like Tom Ferry, Andrew Undum in my world. And he was at the first conference I ever went to, and he actually said, "Don't cry, convert." And that like resonated in me, and that's where 0% of zero came from. Because I was like, you got to convert leads, you got to be doing your job, you got to make the phone calls, you got to do all the things. And now with AI changing everything, you got to be in front of it, you got to be trying it, you got to at least like dabble in it. Like I will tell people all the time, like my TikToks are not great TikToks, but I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I put them out there. Yeah. And then I try to work with my photographer. He does some media stuff, so he'll help me out there. But it's all you need is that spark and that like little bit of direction from one person who's doing it and doing it well. Me being under 5 years or just going into 5 years, it's really fun for me to be able to sit down with new agents and basically be like, here's what I did. I don't know if it's going to work for you, but I'm pretty sure if you try it, we might make money. And it has worked since, or worked up to this point.
So out of all the strategies and things that you've tried, what has kind of driven most of your business like up to this point?
At first, it was referrals. It was finding referral
Just word of
companies that
mouth?
worked. And it was paying companies. It was the Zillows, the realtor.coms, looking at all their products. I found a lot of sources that didn't work. I believe in building a database. I believe in conversion. So if you're going to pay for leads, or you're going to pay a referral company like Zillow or like realtor.com, some of them take really big chunks when you close the deal. So if you're going to sign up with them and you want to make some money, you better be calling those leads. You better be following up, because most of those big companies tell you straight out what their conversion rate is, what their normal conversion rate is. And some realtors have a higher conversion rate with them, but the like national average is like a 2% conversion rate. And if you think about it, if I bought 100 leads today and I was actually following up with absolutely all of them, that means 2 are going to convert. And I don't think everybody realizes like those numbers, like what you have to be doing for lead generation and follow up. And it takes a lot. And you gotta have boots on the ground. You gotta be digging in and making sure, because there's days I definitely check out, and then I will like follow up with somebody and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually reached out to somebody yesterday so that I could go see it." And I'm like,
It happens fast. Yeah.
yeah. And a big part of it is because these are in our hands now. Like, I even had a client this year already that, at the end of last year, they wanted me to list their house, and I was in the interview and they kept talking about how much they loved their realtor. And I sat back in the interview and I said, I have to ask, why am I here if you love your realtor? And they said, well, because you're more negotiable than our realtor. And like my jaw dropped, and I was like, I I appreciate that. I was like, did you even like give your realtor the option? They're like, we didn't want to insult him. And that was like, I it was mind blowing to me. And I since trained on it within the brokerage, because phones, I mean, people are loyal to people if you're in front of them all the time, but sometimes it's not about being loyal. It's about the fact that they were able to hit a button and they got somebody on the phone right then and there. And especially if I always say it's like the curse. If you become really good friends with your clients, right? They know your schedule and they know how busy you are, and they know when you're trying to do family time, and they know when you have people coming in. So like they've become your friends, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't want to call her just to go look at this one house." Like, "No, call me. Let's go." Like I'd always bug me. I mean, my husband's one of my biggest cheerleaders, but he knows that like we could be going out for a ride on the Harley, and all of a sudden I'm like, I need you to swing by this house real quick. And he's like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, yeah, but don't be too loud because they don't allow motorcycles in that neighborhood. So it's,
Just kind of walk it in there. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I feel you, because I think that's as someone that is adjacent to real estate in many respects, like I see the people that are the most successful are the ones that have got a system, and it's like the ones that are not like at stress mode level, like they've kind of gotten it down to a point where they can manage it and figure it out. And then as much as they can, as much as volume as they can handle within that sphere, that tends to be where I see people like really get some good results and stuff, because they've got a plan for all the little, if I get a call, then this, if I get a text, then this, if I get, stuff like that.
And I always say, like, even when it comes to like my open houses, I've been very fortunate because last year I had more listings than I had in previous years, which is really cool. And do it like one part you interviewed and said, I want to sell this property. So what are you doing on the weekends to sell it? I'm not saying you got to be there every weekend. I completely understand there is a balance, but I constantly do open houses because I will take the one or two or five deals a year from somebody just walking in and saying, I don't have a realtor yet, and we just wanted to see the house. Like, guess what? You got one now. And usually being really sarcastic because I am usually will win them over. Sometimes I think they leave quicker because maybe I was a little too sarcastic, but it usually gives you an opportunity that you don't have just on the phone. You get to be in front of somebody, you get to show your personality, you get to earn their trust, and then now that one deal, you don't have to pay a referral on, or you don't have to pay some weird percentage to some big corporate company. I think that's a big deal, and I think it's why one of the reasons I've been able to scale, because I still do all the things I did at the beginning.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Now, a lot of people will say, like, industry advice would say, don't even bother with the referrals. Like, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. I'm curious what led you to trying that out and it being a successful thing for you. Is it just like, you got to stick with it? You got to do all the conversion rate's not going to be the greatest. So you got to just really stick with it. What is it that you did differently that made that work for you?
Part of it was that when I first started, there was 3 other realtors that started at Welcome Home the same time I did. And I thought it would be really cool. I put it out an email and I was like, hey, we're all brand new. Maybe we could like sit down and powwow and like plan some stuff together. And everybody was all for it. And we got together one day and everybody sat at the table and they were like, this lead source is awful. Don't ever use this. And their leads are junk and nobody is pre-qualified. And it was just like negative, 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 negative. And so I was like, okay, bet. Like, I'll become the realtor that can, that's exactly what happened, is I was like, I will be the one who can start closing these deals. And at the time that was Op City. And I did get, my first client was an Op City client, and we got under contract within my first contract right out of real estate or right out of school was within 30 days. And then we were closing 60. So I had my first paycheck within 60 days, which I was like, it could have been $100 and I would have done a backflip. Like, it was just awesome.
Yeah.
And the training, there was actually like training that nobody had told me about. So I took the training with that lead source, which they all have their own trading, I have found out since, and best practices, and found out like where their leads are coming from. And so I understood a little bit better that they are right on realtor.com. They are basically hitting I want to talk to somebody now button, and that person's calling right now. And that little part, once I learned that, I was like, oh, that's so weird, because so many realtors don't want to make the phone call when any lead comes in because we're scared. Yet there's a whole company out there calling right now, and they're never going to meet these people. And so it like clicked in my head, like, I have nothing to lose than calling these people over and over again, because if they don't use me as their realtor, I'm probably never going to meet them. So I have nothing to be embarrassed about. Like, worst case scenario, what, they find me on Facebook? Like, cool, follow me. Like, I'll take the extra follow. But the original lead source was Up City, and the original mindset was bet. I just wanted to prove that, like, you just had to be consistent with it. And I had been in sales prior to for a very long time. So consistency with all sales is one of the key things. And so it was really just be consistent and follow up, and don't let somebody get there before you at the end of the day. So it became one of my major lead sources in the first year. My first year, I had like an 80-20 split on referral sources and other, whether it was like return clients, whether it was open houses, like a company driven lead. I had like an 80-20 split. And then the next year it went down to like a 60-40 split on referral sources and my sphere and other ways of getting leads. And then when I hit year 3 and it was kind of at like the 50-50, I was like, okay, I'm doing something here. This is working. And then last year, I just got really, really, really lucky and consistent and followed up. And between people who came back and, continuing, I've seen, excuse me, I've seen realtors who have stopped a lead source because something else is working. And I don't understand that. I think you got to stay doing what you're doing to keep scaling. So that's part of what I did.
That makes a lot of sense. So one question I have for you. So you mentioned that you were at like 60 deals by yourself. What happens if you start to like push that number to like 80, 100? Like, what do you think would break first in your system? And like, what kind of solutions do you have for those things?
I'm hoping it happens. I'm not sure yet, because I thought 60 was insane. And there was 1 month that, like, I think it was 8 were closing in the same month. And I was like, there's no way I can get this done. But I thought it was a really big deal. And then one of the local realtors that I like to follow did 75, and another one did 90.
Yeah, and you think you're already at the apex of what's even possible, and then someone's just like, "Yeah, I did more than that." No, you're good. That's what editors are for. Yeah, so I think having something to look forward at is, I think that's important. Where do you think just out of curiosity, like, do you think your time would run out? Do you think your systems would break down? Do you think you would need more people? Like, I'm just curious where you see that.
I'll let you know. I'll be back on the show and I'll tell you what I had to
Love that.
what I had to do to break down and rebuild.
Well, okay, let me just ask this then. So what does the next version of your business look like? Do you want to evolve it? Do you want to change what you're doing? Or are you're super happy getting this amount of deals like this and staying like that?
I don't know yet. I just want to keep going. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I want to like triple my production this year. So I think that would be really cool. But if I maintained 60, that'd be the dream. So
Awesome.
That's where we're at right now. But like I said, next time I'm on, we'll talk, man. We'll see what happened, because hopefully maybe there's a team involved in the future. So
yeah. See, that's what I was curious about. So, well, I kind of like that you're open to it. Like, hey, let's just see what happens. Sometimes having a plan is bit of a fool's errand because you can't really predict what's going to happen. So I get it. I totally understand that line of thinking. So let's say someone wants to work with you or they want to connect with you. Where do they need to live? Where do they need to be looking? And how can they find you online?
So I service a really big window of North Carolina and South Carolina, pretty much from Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way to Georgetown, South Carolina. And I go about 2 hours inland if you want to work with me. The Columbia area, I can't help you with. And that's where everybody keeps calling and telling me they want to look. I can't go to Columbia, guys. But if you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook, Alicia Holmquist. You can also look at That Awesome Ducking Realtor. I'm on Google. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. TikTok.
Yeah, and you're trying. You said they may
I'm
not be the best, but
trying.
you're trying.
I'm trying. The TikToks are not the greatest, but I'm trying.
You're trying. One last thing I wanted to ask you here. So, specifically, our audience is real estate investors. So, what would you, from your perspective and what you do, what would you want to say to real estate investors that are wanting to work in your market?
It's a really cool market. It's a little bit unique. It's a little bit different. We have definitely some rules and regs. My favorite kind of investors are the first time investors because that's the fun ones to really dive in and look at numbers. When you're a seasoned investor, you tend to teach me a thing or two about numbers. But Myrtle Beach is always going to be a golf destination. It's always going to be a tourist destination. So between April and October, you're always going to have a rental. And then, hey, come stay in your rental and hang out at the beach during the cold months if you're somewhere cold. But there is a ton of investors here, and there's the amount of new construction that's happening here. We have a lot of investors putting money into single family homes for long-term rentals. And a few of the investors I work with, they hold on to them for a couple years and then they turn around and sell them, or they try to do even like rent to own situations. So it's a really unique market. The Airbnb market is always going to be building here. The short-term market, we have a lot of condo-tels. It's a very unique product. It's basically renting somebody's condo inside what looks like a hotel, but it's not really either of those things. So, investors are a lot of fun here. It's very unique from what I'm told, because we also have rules against certain Airbnbs, and you have to have management companies. And I always like to have a few in my back pocket of like, no, this is a pretty good management company, or I wouldn't use them. So I love working with the investors that are in this area. And then once you get out into the country, because the beach is very different than you go about an hour inland and it gets real country real quick. But that's where a lot of like the investors who want to flip a property are. They'll see something that's, 50 or 60,000, as crazy as it sounds, it is here. And they will put some money into it and they will make it a really cute home for usually like a first time buyer, or they find something really, really unique on some land and then they really turn their money around, which is cool too. So
Kid, I'm hearing those numbers and I'm a little bit like, I cannot even imagine that. So if you're looking to invest in that's a lot of people are looking for markets like that. So it's good that you call that out. Maybe somewhere to look if you're looking to do something like that and you're somewhat nearby. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really great.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And to our audience, if you enjoyed this episode and learned something, which I know you did, go ahead and follow us on Facebook. I'm just saying Facebook because you said Facebook, but follow us subscribe on YouTube. That's where our channel is. Get more episodes just like this one. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Real Estate Pros. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.